blazing afternoon sun scorched the highway, turning it into a shimmering ribbon of heat and dust. Among the endless line of trucks, one blue vehicle moved with quiet purpose. Behind its steering wheel sat Arza Singh, 24 years old, sweat glistening on her forehead, determination fixed in her eyes, silence pressed to her lips. Today wasn't about reaching a destination. Today was about justice. Because Arza Singh wasn't a regular truck driver. She was ACP Arza Singh, Assistant Commissioner of Police on an undercover mission to expose corruption that had poisoned this very road. From a distance, a checkpoint appeared for policemen standing in the sun, their uniforms dusty yet gleaming with the arrogance of power. They weren't protecting travelers, they were looting them. And this was the very spot where the web of bribery ran deepest. Arza eased her truck to a stop. The engine died, and silence settled, until one officer waved his hand sharply. "Hey girl, you're driving this truck. Get down," he barked. She climbed out, keeping her face calm. "Sir, all my documents are correct. Please, check them." Her voice trembled slightly, but her eyes stayed steady. The policeman snatched the papers, flipped through them, and smirked. Around them, a few villagers and drivers stood watching, too scared to speak. An old man shook his head. He'd seen this story too many times. After a glance, the cop laughed. "The papers are fine," he said, "but that's not our job. Pay 5,000 taka or the truck stays here." The other officers chuckled, enjoying the helplessness they'd created. Arza replied firmly, "Sir, my documents are complete. What money are you demanding? I don't have a single taka, and I won't give one. This is against the law. Stop taking bribes, or I'll take you all to court." Her words hit them like a spark in dry grass. The officers' smiles vanished. One stepped forward, eyes blazing. "You'll teach us the law. Talk too much and we'll break your hand so you can never drive again. Pay up, or leave the truck and walk." Arza's anger rose, but she stayed silent. Her secret recorder was running. She needed more evidence. She sighed, pretending to be nervous. "Sir, please, I'm a new driver. Where would I get that kind of money?" The men laughed again, this time louder. "A new driver, and a woman, that's illegal. Women can't drive heavy vehicles under transport rules. We'll impound your truck, throw you in jail. Pay 5,000 taka, or this truck's finished." Their words dripped with corruption and cruelty and now open misogyny. Another officer added mockingly, "Women shouldn't be on the road. They should be at home rolling rotis." Then came the final insult. "Search her. Check if she's hiding anything." One officer yanked her purse. Another started rifling through her bag. Arza's heart raced. Her phone, the wireless mic, and the tracker were inside. If they discovered them, the entire operation would collapse. Suddenly a policeman held up a small device. "What's this?" he demanded. Arza froze for half a second. Her mind raced. The plan was seconds away from disaster, but calm returned, and courage followed. Quietly, she reached into her pocket, pulled out her service pistol and ID, and slammed the badge on the table. "Look closely," she said, voice firm as steel. "I'm ACP Arza Singh, and your game ends today." Before the stunned men could react, she pressed a button on her phone. Sirens screamed across the highway. Out of hiding spots nearby, CBI and Anti-Corruption Bureau officers stormed the checkpoint, weapons drawn. "Hands up, CBI!" they shouted as media vans rolled in, cameras flashing. The corrupt officers stood frozen, their arrogance collapsing into fear. One fell to his knees. "Madam, we made a mistake," he pleaded. Arza's face was calm, but her words cut deep. "You wore this uniform to protect the people," she said coldly. "Instead, you used it to rob them. And now, this same uniform will not save you." The operation was complete. Justice had arrived. The moment Arza said, "This uniform won't save you now," silence fell over the checkpoint. Then, the world exploded into noise. Sirens wailed across the dusty highway as CBI and Anti-Corruption Bureau vehicles roared in from every direction, surrounding the post. The officers who had been laughing just moments ago now stood frozen. The color drained from their faces. Hands trembled, and the sharp clink of handcuffs shattered the air like thunder. Reporters rushed forward as camera lights flashed. Within seconds, every news channel began broadcasting live from the scene. Breaking news: ACP Arza Singh's undercover operation exposes corrupt police officers. Arza stood tall amid the chaos, the anger that had burned in her eyes earlier now replaced with calm satisfaction. She looked straight at the men who once mocked her and said coldly, "You have dishonored this uniform, but from today, your game of looting ends here." Her words cut like steel, controlled, final, and true. CBI officer Romesh Sharma stepped forward with 4 more officers behind him, each carrying files, cameras, and recordings. "Every one of your crimes," he said sternly, "has been documented. Every bribe, every threat, every word. We have it all." He turned to Arza and nodded slightly, a silent salute. Mission accomplished. Scene transition. 1 week later, district court. The courtroom buzzed with tension. Reporters filled the gallery, cameras ready. Lawyers whispered, spectators murmured, and at the center, policemen stood in the dark, heads bowed, their arrogance replaced with shame. Then the doors opened. Arza Singh entered, dressed simply in a white kurta and blue jeans. Her presence commanded silence. Even without her uniform, she radiated authority. The judge looked at her and said, ACP Arza Singh, the evidence you've provided is powerful, but we'd like to hear your full account. Arza stepped forward, voice steady but heavy with truth. Your Honor, I went undercover as a truck driver because we had confirmed reports of a bribery and harassment network operating at that checkpoint. These officers didn't just extort money, they terrorized drivers, especially women. They threatened to seize my vehicle, mocked my gender, and demanded bribes. But every single word, every threat, was captured by my hidden recording device. She pointed to the evidence table stacked with files, USB drives, and witness statements. The prosecutor played one of the recordings. Through the speakers came the rough voice of a policeman. You're a woman driving a truck. That's illegal. Pay $5,000 or we'll seize your vehicle. The room went silent. Then another voice followed. Women belong at home, not on the road. The judge's expression hardened. He turned toward the accused. Their heads sank lower, guilt written across their faces. The defense lawyer rose quickly. Your Honor, my clients are being framed. This is a conspiracy against the department. But the judge cut him off mid-sentence. Counsel, he said firmly, the evidence is overwhelming. Your argument dissolves in the face of truth. Arza continued, calmly describing every step, how she disguised herself, recorded the interactions, signaled the CBI team, and coordinated the media to ensure full transparency. Then, with quiet conviction, she concluded, Your Honor, this is not my personal victory. It is the victory of every driver who's been extorted, and every woman who has been humiliated for simply working with dignity. The verdict. The judge sat in silence for a moment before speaking. This court must send a strong message against corruption and gender discrimination. With a firm strike of the gavel, he declared, the 4 accused officers are sentenced to 7 years in prison and fined 5 lakh rupees each. The CBI is directed to conduct a wider investigation into this corruption network. The gavel echoed through the hall. Justice had been served. Outside, in the courthouse corridor, a crowd had gathered, villagers, drivers, and common citizens who had suffered under fear for years. As the handcuffed officers were led away, applause erupted. The sound rose like a wave of hope. A young driver ran up, tears in his eyes. Madam, you've changed our lives. Now we can drive without fear. An elderly man stepped forward, his voice trembling with pride. He took Arza's hand and said softly, Child, you've shown us that women can do anything. Arza smiled humbly. For a moment, the noise faded, and peace filled the air. That day, one woman's courage didn't just end corruption, it restored faith in justice. And from that highway of dust and deceit rose a story that would echo through the nation. The story of ACP Arza Singh, the woman who turned fear into freedom.